We are at Kingsbury North Trailhead, starting the Tahoe Rim Trail. 170 miles to go. Heading to North Canyon Campground today. Check in with you later. Here on the top of this hill, nice little bench behind us. Not a bad spot for a break. We're about 6, 7 miles in, something like that.
7.
Call it 7. Heading towards Spooner Summit, and then on to either North Canyon or Marlette Campground, depending on which one we feel like hiking to. This little guy's trying to make moves. Trying to get to the trail mix. Don't even think about it. Don't do it. Doing some fire management in this section. I don't really know how they get them in these piles, but it's pretty dang impressive. They're all over this area. pretty cool. About down to Spooner Summit now. We're gonna have some lunch and then decide how far we want to go to get to camp tonight. Just had some lunch, heading uphill toward the access for the North Canyon campground. It's about 4 miles, which will put us around 16.3 for the day. And we're gonna see what we're gonna do once we get to that intersection. All right, talk to you later. Just finished the 4-mile climb up from the Spooner Summit trailhead. This is the direction to go to the Marlette campground. But we are going to head downhill to the North Canyon campground and call it a day at about 17.5 miles. I'll show you the campsite when we get down there. All right, we just made it down to North Canyon campground. Pretty neat little spot. Got some picnic tables and got some bear lockers over here. These bear lockers are all over the campground. Some fire rings, but no wood. And there's a bathroom or a pit toilet down this direction. And past the pit toilet is a stream that's running really well that we just got a bunch of water from, so we are set for the night. About to settle in, pitch the tent, kick our feet up and relax. Day one in the books, we did about 17.5 miles. Tomorrow we should have about the same, heading up this hill toward Marlette Lake and then toward Marlette Campground in the morning, and then up toward Mount Rose after that. Check in with you later. Just making some dinner on night one. Tonight we have beans and rice with some dehydrated chicken. Just boiled some water, put it in there, slap it on a tortilla with a cheese stick melted in there. What do you think, Allie?
Delicious.
I agree.
2 thumbs up.
I totally agree. All right. I think we're going to call it a night after this, so we will talk to you guys tomorrow morning when we head up toward Marlette Lake. All right. Later. Good morning. We have made it to day 2. Drying off our sleeping bags a little bit. They got a little damp from the condensation last night. Over here eating some breakfast and drinking some coffee. Say hi.
Hello.
Got our gear all exploded all over this picnic table, which we are going to miss dearly because I'm not sure we're going to see another one the rest of the trip. We are going to head up to Marlette Lake in a few minutes. We'll show you the lake when we get there. Heading up this dirt road toward Marlette Lake, not on the Tahoe Rim Trail, aka we are cheating because we didn't want to walk back up that hill to the trail, so we're making our own little route here, and we get to walk by the lake. We just got water a little bit past Marlette Campground at a little creek. Heading back toward the official TRT now. Pretty crazy views up here. I believe that's Carson City down there. I could be wrong, but I think that's the general direction that it is in. Pretty cool. Tahoe. Heading that way. Just hiking into Twin Lakes now. Gonna stop here and have some lunch. Check in with you soon. Just finished up lunch down at Twin Lakes. We're climbing up and out of it now. Got a really nice view of Crystal Bay right here, and then it meets up with the rest of Tahoe out there. Coming from this direction, heading this way toward Mount Rose, and we're going to stop in about 7 miles and set up camp. See a lot more of Lake Tahoe from here. We are never going to get through this section. We've literally stopped every like 200 feet, and there's been a better view each time. Unreal. Just climbing up this section here. Got a really cool view of Lake Washoe Lake. I can't remember which one. Awesome views from up here. Came from that way. Heading up this way. Just got some water at a creek about 1/10 of a mile back. Heading about a mile to hopefully a place to camp. That's what we're shooting for. And that'll give us about 15 miles for the day. A lot of cool views. Not a lot of water. Right on cue. Almost time to make some dinner here on night 2. Our campsite is up here with a great view of Lake Tahoe through some of these trees. Our tent is over that direction. Say hi. Having fun, Allie?
Having fun.
Did you make it through day 2?
I did. 15 miles.
We're getting there. Slowly but surely. All right, just wrapping up night number 2, finishing up some dinner. I had some white cheddar ramen noodles, which are long gone, and Allie's having some white cheddar mac and cheese. Probably gonna just hang out here and check out the rest of the sunset and maybe do some stargazing and then head into the tent. We will catch up with you guys tomorrow. See ya. Good morning, everybody. It's about 10 till 7. Just getting up, making some breakfast and some coffee. Some oatmeal again. Heading up Relay Peak today to about 10,200 something feet, which will be the highest altitude that Allie or me have ever been to. It's up there, I believe. That direction. Heading to Ophir Creek first to get some water, and then we're gonna start heading up the hill toward Galena Creek Falls. We'll check in with you later. All right, we have made it to Ophir Creek near the Mount Rose Highway. Heading that direction toward Mount Rose Campground, and then I believe we're gonna head around these hills and up that mountain there, which is Relay Peak. Few Tahoe meadows from where we just came from. Lake's off here. View of the lake over there. Not really sure what that mountain is. And the desert is that way. Heading up towards Galena Falls right now.
Joining in on the video, Chris is getting water before we head up to Relay Peak, about 2 miles up.
We have made it to Galena Falls. Galena, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. Show you the view. And up to the top now. View from the top. Not really up there. Not a bad spot. These are all butterflies on this snow and flying all over the place. This is so crazy.
Hi, how's it going? You doing the whole thing? Awesome.
Not too bad. This is the view over the other side of Relay Peak. Off in the distance, I doubt this camera can pick it up, but we can see Mount Lassen. I believe that's Mount Claremont in the middle of the screen there. Allie's working her way up. Just walking through all these butterflies. So pretty up here. It's taken us far too long to get down because we don't want to leave this view. We have made it to the top of Relay Peak. Lake Tahoe's over there. We came from all the way down there, about 1,000 feet ago. Mount Rose over that way. We're at about 10,285 feet, I think. Allie, how was the climb?
It was hard. It was worth it.
Well, as they say, it's all downhill from here.
All the way to Tahoe City.
All the way to Tahoe City. Uh-oh. It's getting cloudy. Woo! Top of Relay Peak. Just made it up here to the junction on the TRT. We're gonna take this alternate to go down to Gray Lake to camp tonight. Got about a little bit less than a mile to go. Whew, a little bit out of breath. We will update you when we get down there. All right, just wrapping up day number 3. Allie and I just had some dinner. We had some mashed potatoes with summer sausage. We're here at Gray Lake, about 45 miles into the trip so far. I think we did 13 today. It was pretty low mileage, but we had to go up and over Relay Peak, which was a bit challenging. Tomorrow we're gonna hike about 16.5 miles to Watson Lake, I believe, and we're gonna camp there. And from there we got about 13.5, 14 into Tahoe City, and we'll be about halfway done. We will check in the morning. See ya. Good night.
All right, we are packing up on morning 4, I think. And Chris got some trail magic yesterday.
Some sparkly silver flip-flops, and I'm taking them the rest of the way.
He was like, I want to soak my feet in that stream over there, but I don't have any flip-flops. And there they were.
And Allie has flip-flops, and I've been jealous of them since day 1.
So it's a good day.
Got it. Just finished the climb up from Gray Lake. Had to avoid this big old patch of snow here. Got a view of Lake Tahoe out this way. Heading downhill toward Brockway Summit. Found a nice little shady spot to take a little break, drink some water, have some trail mix. Having fun?
Mm-hmm.
A pretty easy day today so far. Pretty much all downhill. Heading this way, got about, I don't know, 5 miles to Brockway Trailhead, where we'll have some lunch and head uphill from there. Just finished climbing out of Brockway Summit Trailhead. Just had some lunch. Probably have about 4.5, probably 5 miles to Watson Lake. Got a couple clouds today. Better than the rest of the trip. It's nice, the little bursts of everything being in the shade. Nice little level cruise here, so I figured I'd take some video. That's what we're walking in. All right, we have made it to our first water source in about 17 miles. From one campsite to the next, we still got about, I don't know, half mile to go until we actually get to camp up this way at Watson Lake, but we're gonna fill up our water here. Came from this direction. Let's take a little rest. We're beat. Ready to fill up here. We're gonna pick up about 10 liters of water and head to camp. Check in when we get there. All right, we have made it to the end of day 4. We just got to Watson Lake and set our tent up on the hill. Just enjoying the view of this lake here. There's a little area to swim if you feel so inclined, but I don't think that's the move for me. There's a whole bunch of bear boxes and established campsites. I'm assuming as thru hikers that we're allowed to just set up wherever. There's no registration or anything like that. So we just picked the spot and pitched our tent. I'm about to make some dinner here shortly and probably call it a night pretty early because we are beat. We did about 17 and a half, 18 miles today according to my health app on my iPhone. Pretty tough day. But it's our last night in the tent before we head into Tahoe City, where we have a hotel. We will more than likely talk to you tomorrow. See ya. Good morning. It is day 5. We have about a 13-mile hike into Tahoe City, where we will be staying in a hotel, which we are both pretty pumped about. Starting off the day on a road walk, and it is done right here. It's about 7:20 in the morning. Got up at 5:30 to get an early start to the day so that we could maximize our time in town, because we got some stuff to do when we get there. All right, we're about 4 miles into the day so far. Super easy hike, kind of just meandering through the woods. Going downhill a little bit right now. It's all been fairly level. Really pretty back in here. Heading toward Painted Rock, where we'll probably take a little break and filter some water that we have stored up, and then keep moving into Tahoe, or toward Tahoe City. Probably about as high as we're going to be today. Got about 4.5 miles downhill into Tahoe City. Hopefully going to get some pizza when we get down there. Looking forward to it. Are you, Allie?
Crush some pizza.
Pizza and beer.
And bed.
Soon.
Hydration, little nourishment.
It's definitely one of the cooler views we've had so far. You can see people rafting down there. You can see them or not. There they are. Hello down there. Wow. Pretty incredible. All right. Continuing down. Got a mile to go until we get to the Tahoe City trailhead. Can see a little bit of the town down here. Heading down. We made it to Tahoe City. Allie's tired. We're going to get some pizza right now. Hopefully this pans out. We have made it to the pizza spot. These are the rafts that we saw earlier, all the way up on the mountain. That's how far we came down. About to have some lunch. Woo! And beers. All right, start of leg number 2. Walking out of Tahoe City right now, just kind of walking along this sidewalk. The view of the lake off to the left. Got about a half mile to get back to the trail. And we should have around a 13.5-mile day and a pretty big climb, so not sure how much filming I'm going to do going up that bad boy, but we will keep you updated. Talk to you soon. All right, we have made it to the Ward Creek Bridge. I just gotta figure out how to get down there. Pull some water from this creek. All right, we're about 1.1 miles into this 3.7-mile climb up to Twin Peaks Junction. We've made it to McLeod Falls. Pretty much just walking through the woods from this direction. Let's keep heading up this way. All right, we made it to the halfway point for us, which means we're about 85 miles in. Just made it to the top of this climb up to the spur trail that goes up to Twin Peaks. How pumped are you, Allie? It's all downhill to camp from here. Just came up around, what, 2,000 something feet. Loving it. About 11 miles in for the day. Time to head downhill. All right, we've made it to Granite Chief Wilderness. Next stop, tomorrow night, we'll be in Desolation Wilderness. Time to head this way. We have just made the turn onto the PCT where it joins the TRT for, oh geez, I'm not sure how many miles, 40-ish, something like that. I'm not positive. But we are there now. Probably have about 2.5 miles down to camp. Heading southbound. All right, we made it to the end of day 6. We got to camp around 3:15 today, so we are lounging in the tent and killing some time. We had a late lunch and then did our camp chores, got some water from this stream over this direction. Got all our chores done, so just hanging out in the tent. Give you a quick tour. This is my sleeping setup. Got my quilt here and my sleeping pad underneath. Allie's got her purple people eater quilt and her super luxurious Sea to Summit sleeping pad underneath. How do you like your setup, Allie?
It's nice and cozy.
She got a new sleeping pad and quilt for this trip, and I am super jealous. Underground quilts do great things, and this is about as good as it gets. Got our clothes bags behind us. Electronics, water, first aid kit, random stuff. Super exciting things. Got my running tights drying on the roof of the tent. Super classy stuff. All right, we are going to eat dinner here in a little bit and check out the sunset. Show you guys the view off to the side of our campsite when we head out there. Peace. Getting started on day 8. Have about 17 and a half, I think, to hike today. I'm gonna try to make it to Middle Velma Lake. Stop at Richardson Lake for lunch. We were super tired and in the tent by 8:30 last night, so I didn't take any more video. Should be entering Desolation Wilderness today. Around halfway through the day, sometime after lunch. Got a little bit of climbing to do first thing today. Update you in a bit. Coming up from this direction. This is the valley we camped in last night. Got a nice view of Twin Peaks right there. That's where we started descending from. McKinney Bay is out that direction. And we are going this way. to the Bear Lake outlet. About 5 miles into the day. Super nice water source. Little tent site up there. Got about 1.7 to go. And so we hit Miller Creek where we're going to fill up with some water and head on to Richardson Lake. Made it to Miller Creek. About 1.8 miles to go before we stop for lunch. Gonna fill up our water bags here because we have about 8 miles or so to the next water source. And we're gonna head up that way. Made it to Richardson Lake. About 8 miles into the day, maybe a little more. Trying to find a place to stop for lunch. We're just about at the halfway point for the day. We're trying to decide if we want to go an extra mile to camp at Fontanellis Lake tonight instead of Middle Velma. We'll figure that out later. We have made it to Desolation Wilderness, which we have been looking forward to the entire time. We got some really awesome lakes, Dick's Pass in front of us. Going to be in this area for the next 21 miles, give or take. Can't wait. Super stoked to see what's ahead. All right, just hit the 100-mile mark. About twice as far as I've ever gone on a backpacking trip. More than that, actually. A few miles into Desolation right now. Walking through the woods. Got about 70 to go. 4 more nights. Excited, Allie? Riveting stuff.
Huh?
I said, are you excited, Allie?
Yeah,
I'm still filming.
I'm excited.
About 10 miles in for the day. Oh well. 8.5 more. Let's get to it. Just passed through Phipps Creek, ran into a group of 4 TRT hikers that we met on our first day. Pretty cool to, we've run into a handful of people that we saw toward the beginning. Just seeing them on the other side of the loop, it's pretty neat. We're about a little bit less than 4 miles from Fontanellis Lake. Gonna try to get a spot there. Hopefully there's some available. This is our first day that we're deviating from our plan, and we're gonna go a mile further than we had originally planned. So hopefully it doesn't bite us in the butt. See what happens. Made it to Middle Velma Lake. Haven't seen anyone camped here. We got about a mile to go to our water source slash camping spot, Fontanellis. Came from that direction. Going up this way. See you when we get to camp. We have made it to Fontanellis Lake. This is probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. This water is crystal clear. These rock formations are insane. I'm certain this video doesn't do it justice. This is incredible. Hopefully we can find a place to camp. Gonna go look for that now. Alright, found a little nook up here. Had to get creative with getting the tent set up, but I guess this will work. You can see I guess that's Middle Velma down the hill there. I'm gonna go get some water and settle in for the night.
Alright, we are at Fontanellis Lake. Enjoying some views. Soaking our feet. It's not actually that cold. It's pretty cold. It feels good for a 18 mile day.
And there's a glacier over there. If not, it's close. I don't understand how it's not colder than this. This is amazing. A little video tour from up on this rock near our campsite. There's Fontanellis Lake over there. The outlet that flows down to, I guess that's Middle Velma Lake, I'm not really sure. Behind that is Lake Tahoe. There's a couple other people up on this peak over here. There's Allie taking some photos. Pretty amazing. About to make some dinner and turn in for the night. Might take video of the sunset though. Should be pretty epic up here. Talk to you soon. Up here checking out the sunset. Need to correct a mistake from earlier. That is Upper Velma Lake. Middle Velma Lake is beyond it a bit. Just packed up camp, ready to start day 8, leaving Fontanellis Lake. Got a little bit less than a mile until Dix Lake and about 2.8 miles to the top of Dix Pass. Ready to get this day started. Pretty short day, only about 10 miles and change to Lake Aloha, where we will spend the day, hopefully with a lot of time to hang out and enjoy ourselves. Took this little side trail over to check out Dix Lake before we head up the pass. Some good camping up in here. Not a bad start to the day. All right. Time to head uphill. We have made it to the top of Dix Pass. There's Dix Peak over there, about 500 feet higher than we are. We're at about 9,400 feet right now. Just finished a 1,800-ish foot climb. Guess Allie wants to go play in the snow. About to go over the other side here. Downhill toward a few more lakes and Aloha Lake in about 7.3 miles, something like that. Allie, we did it!
We did it!
Woo. It's okay up here. We wandered out onto the snow and have a better look at the lakes up here. Do a little roll call. Tahoe's over there in the distance. Move over to the left. The furthest one is Middle Velma. The one a little closer is Upper Velma. The one out here, I'll zoom in. This is Fontanellis. The little island in the middle, just past that is where we camped last night. And then just over the hump here is Dix Lake. And we are at the top of Dix Pass. About to head that way. View of the other side of Dix Pass. There's Dix Peak right there. Half Moon Lake. Susie Lake there in the middle. And off in the distance is our destination for tonight, Lake Aloha. Time to start heading downhill. Okay, we have made it to our destination for day 8. We are at Lake Aloha. On our way to find some camping right now. A lot of rocky hiking today, but super pretty terrain. A lot of lakes, a lot of really clear, clean water. Alright, time to find a place to attempt to pitch our tent on all these rocks. Wish us luck! Just finished setting up the duplex with 0 stakes in the ground, all with rocks. That was a good time. Hopefully it makes it through the night. Looks good for now, but we shall see. It's our view for the night. Sunset should go down over, I believe that's Pyramid Peak right there. Should be a good one.
Christopher decided to jump into Lake Aloha. Woo! How is it?
It's a little chilly.
A little chilly.
Not too bad though.
Tent up there. Pyramid Peak. Chris is displaying the latest in camping fashion. Smart water bottle. An everything bag / purse. And a floppy hat.
Little past 7:30 here at Lake Aloha. Just checking out the sunset. Just finished dinner. We made some burritos with beans, rice, and chicken. Some cheese. Just had some Snickers for dessert. 3 more nights to go. We got about 21 miles tomorrow, including a ferry ride across Upper and Lower Echo Lake. Looking forward to that. It should be cool. All right, I think we're gonna call it a night. See you in the morning. About 7:20 in the morning, day 9. We are making our way toward the Echo Chalet water taxi station, about 3.5 miles away, where hopefully we'll be able to call a taxi across Echo Lake to take us to Echo Chalet to cut 2.5 miles off of our day, which would be 21 total hiking. Not 100% sure either of us have that in us today. Hopefully we won't have to find out. We are now leaving Desolation Wilderness. Came from up this direction. Heading downhill toward Echo Lake. Just down there. See you on the boat. Just finished second breakfast at Echo Chalet. Allie bought herself a souvenir that she now has to carry about 45 miles back to South Lake. We have about 15 miles to go to get to Round Lake, which is where we are trying to camp tonight. Update you later. Getting close to the top of the climb up from Echo Summit. A view of the bottom of Lake Tahoe in the distance. I'll zoom in here a little bit. There's the airport, and beyond that is South Lake Tahoe. And we will be there in 3 days? 3 days? 3 days. Alrighty, onward. Just sort of meandering through the forest back here. About 7.5 miles away from Round Lake. Super chill back here. Lots of cool rock formations, a lot of shade. Pretty nice hiking. Enjoying ourselves after the rocks from Desolation and the climb from a few miles back. This is downright pleasant. This came out of nowhere. Whoa. I've been walking in the woods the last 6-7 miles, and then we just came out to this. We have made it to Showers Lake. Got about 4.5 miles to go to camp. Heading up this way. Hiking through some wildflowers that are as tall as we are. Been super pretty the last few miles. Just past Showers Lake, now we're skirting along this bowl here. Heading downhill slowly but surely. Should be at camp in about I don't know, hour and a half-ish. Made it to another pretty significant milestone here. This is where the PCT splits off to be its own thing again. That direction. I believe this is Meese Meadow. It's a private cabin over here. And we are heading to Round Lake in 2 miles. All right, end of day 9. Hiked 18.5 miles to Round Lake. Would have been 21, but we cut off 2.5 by taking the Echo Lake water taxi. Super worth it. We are both quite tired right now. Our camp's up the hill here. About to have some dinner. More than likely call it an early night because we have another pretty long day tomorrow. Pretty big climb to get up to the Friel Peak Trail Junction. And that's at mile around 15. So we got some recovering to do. 2 nights to go. Ready to wrap this thing up. Talk to you tomorrow. Good morning. We have made it to day 10. Heading about 17.5 miles to Star Lake today. Just finished packing up. Got a whole bunch of climbing in front of us today. Gonna be taking it slow, taking a good amount of breaks. It's our last night out here. Should have about 31, 32 miles left, something like that. Time to get started. Just made it to Big Meadow. Super cool right here. It's big, open, flat meadow. Totally surrounded by these hills and trees. About 2.5 miles into the day. Heading across this way. At the other side of Big Meadow right now. Pretty neat to see the snow at the top there, and that saddle is where we started descending after our climb yesterday, and we just kind of walked around that bowl and down through these trees, stopped at Round Lake, and now we are here. The meadow looks much bigger from this side. Just walking through the Big Meadow trailhead right now. There was a dumpster here, so we unloaded our trash. Heading down this road for a bit before we hop back on the trail and start our climbing for the day. reached the top of our longest climb today. We're up at around 9,450 feet. Started the climb down at Big Meadow at 7,250 feet. So 2,200 feet of up over the last, I don't know, how many miles? How many miles did we come up from Big Meadow? 7 or so. Pretty nice view up here. About a mile from our lunch spot. Just sitting up here, finishing up lunch at this campsite. Have a view of Lake Tahoe through the trees. A few cool looking juniper trees around. Allie is tending to her blisters. She has one on each pinky toe and 2 on the heels. She is a badass because she's been hiking all of these miles with me. I was lagging yesterday and she was the one kicking my butt into gear. And we are both loving it out here, but we are very ready to be in the Holiday Inn Express bed tomorrow night. Got about 6.5 miles to Star Lake. About to get packed up here and move on out. Just made it to Armstrong Pass. We're about 11.5 miles into the day. Should have about 5 more to camp at Star Lake. Picking up some water here in about a mile, I think. And we're gonna lug it all the way there. Okay. It has come to my attention that I may have been incorrect earlier and that those taller trees were not juniper trees. I am not an arborist, so I do not know for sure. But I'm pretty sure that these shorter ones are juniper trees. And they're super cool. Sort of look like giant bonsai trees. Beautiful. Allie called me out on that one. Yeah. Let's go on a nature walk.
Not a bad place to get some water.
Check it out. It's free water. We have made it to the junction of the trail to Frio Peak. This is as high as we're going to get the rest of the way. We're at about 9,700 feet. Camp is at Star Lake, which is at around 9,100 square feet. 9,100 feet. And then from there, our last day is pretty much all downhill. So this is probably the best view of Tahoe we're gonna get before we end up back in South Lake. How's it feel, Allie?
Feels good. Last climb.
Our last big climb is finished. Ooh. Feels really good to be up here right now. Nerd. to our final campsite of the trip. We are at Star Lake on night 10. Hiked about 17 miles today. Climbed about 2,600 feet up from our low point. Feels really good to be at our last campsite. It's super pretty here too. Gonna go set up camp and then chill out, make some dinner, relax, enjoy ourselves. Head back into South Lake Tahoe tomorrow. All right, wrapping up day 10. Just finished having dinner. I had my favorite pesto noodles, and Allie had some white cheddar mac and cheese with chicken. How was it?
It was delicious. And you finish it like you do all my meals.
That's a fact. No food goes wasted in this camp. Tomorrow we have about a 9-mile descent to the junction with the Vansicle connector that we're going to actually hike into South Lake instead of going all the way to Kingsbury North, because the trailhead is under construction and we didn't have very good cell service when we were dropped off there. So we didn't want to get into a situation where we finish the hike where we started, but we can't get back into town. So we're going to replace those miles with a nice big downhill for 3.2 miles tomorrow, which will put us in South Lake pretty much right behind where our hotel is. So that's the game plan. Last night out here on the Tahoe Rim Trail, it's been one heck of an adventure. Very tiring, very rewarding. Good times. We will see you in the morning for the last day out here. Good morning. About 7:20 a.m. we have camp packed up and we are ready to hike into South Lake today. Our last day out here. Have about 9 miles to go until we get onto that connector trail, and then down into South Lake Tahoe we go. This has been our view for the hike this morning so far. Up there in the middle of the screen is the pass up by the trail junction to go up to Frail Peak. Kind of down this way is where we hike towards Star Lake. We are heading this direction. About 2 miles or so until we get to our water source for the day. Probably our last one, where we'll have to filter. And down into town. Here we go. About to walk under one of these ski lifts at Heavenly Ski Resort. This is up Mott Canyon. We've seen some ski lifts, but this is the first one we've actually hiked underneath. Pretty neat. And we have made it to our final water source, South Daggett Creek. Just under 4 miles till we split off the TRT onto the what's it called again? I can't remember. The connector trail. This is a cool one. Fill up some water here and then keep moving. Pretty much descending down the outskirts of Heavenly Ski Resort right now. About to pass under another ski lift here in a mile or so. It's the Vansicle Connector Trail, is what I couldn't remember the name of before. Should be about 3.5 miles from here. So we got that time left on the TRT. Just enjoying a little walk in the woods now. About to hike under our second ski lift here. I believe this is called the Galaxy Ski Lift. Pretty cool. I'm not sure what happened here, but I'd like to hear the story. August 21st, something like that. And kind of in the middle of, we're near a ski run, but I'm not sure how this went down. But I'd like to know. It's coming down from this way. We made it to the Kingsbury South Trailhead Junction. That way leads to the parking lot. We are going to continue on the TRT. We got 0.7 left to get to the Vansicle Trail Junction. See you there. Okay, we have made it to the intersection of the Vansicle State Park connector trail that goes down into South Lake, and the Tahoe Rim Trail, the official one, continues on to Kingsbury North where we started, in order to avoid having to get an Uber, being this stinky, and just no cell service up there. We're gonna take the alternate down into South Lake. So I guess technically we are getting off of the TRT right here, and we'll be finished hiking in about 3 miles. Congrats, babe. We did it. See you down the hill. We've made it to the waterfall that's around a mile from the Vansicle trailhead. Means we should have just about 1 mile of hiking till we hit the road. And I'm just gonna call that good as far as this trip goes. Last mile, Allie. Here we go. Just standing up here taking a little break. Thinking about how wild it is that we were at every point across this lake at some point over the last 11 days. Started somewhere over there, headed counterclockwise, all the way around. You can actually see Pyramid Peak up here in the middle of the screen. It's near Lake Aloha where we camped 2 nights ago. No, 3 nights ago. Yeah, 3 nights ago. Pretty wild. Just about down to the bottom here. Okay, we have reached the bottom of the Vansicle Connector Trail, which means that we are finished. We just have to walk into South Lake and beg to be let into our hotel early because we really need showers badly. Feels really good.